Hi guys, welcome back. This time I have this little bad boy here. I hope it works, but the thing is guys that this one is the microphone for the phone, so I have it connected here and I am recording on my phone to get the audio. So I will see if this one works, because last time over one of our videos from Koran, one of you guys told me that the audio is not the best, and I'm like, I know that moments, like there are moments that the audio is not the best. I'm still working on figuring all the vlogging thing, guys. Recently there were 2 vlogs and I thought about it and I was like, long time no talky talk video. So I decided that today will be a good day to record a video because I have an empty apartment. It's just me basically and our lizard. We have a lizard that I call Georgina or George because I am not sure of the gender, but we cannot see Georgina or George most of the time because they're hiding somewhere. So I don't know where are they. I prepared a list because thinking about this video, I was thinking what would be interesting for you guys to listen to watch to, because actually I discovered that I do listen to a lot of like yapping people when I'm doing my crochet, because I'm learning how to crochet. So when I do that, I really do love watching people who are just yapping to me and like make me like realize something, things about something, or learn something new about like different culture, or just listen to somebody who's like lightly yapping about something. And I guess today I am your yapster. And why I think so, because I already yapped for like 2 minutes. So without any further ado, because you click on this video probably because you're curious of like, what are the things that surprised this Polish lady in the Philippines? And some of those things are quite odd from a Polish point of view, so that's what I want to share now. And that's what we're going to do now. My first thing is something that I am actually being irritated by, guys. These things irritate me a lot on the daily basis because recently I have some more friends who are Filipinos. I am in this stage where I finally started to make some friends who are Filipinos, and that makes me feel really, really good. That makes me feel more like a part of the society. I'm learning more about the culture. I'm learning more about the country, and I'm just experiencing it more because I have friends who are Filipinos, and not only Jericho. So because of that, and mostly because of Jericho, but also because of the Filipino friends, I learned that Filipinos are trying to shortcut everything. Like, texting with a Filipino is such a headache for me because I am not used to shortcutting every word that is existing in a conversation. And I think in Polish, there is no mannerism of shortcutting things. We might make English words sound Polish because that's sometimes how we use the words. But we will never, like, I wouldn't say never, but I would never shortcut words to such a thing. Like, word has 4 letters, sige. And it will be shortened to gege or gg. And I'm like, what does it even mean? I had so many moments while texting with Jericho or texting with my Filipino friends when I was like just bamboozled, being like, what are you talking to me? What is the thing that you're trying to communicate, because I don't understand? And sometimes I'm thinking, am I like an old person in the room? Am I like a boomer in the room who has no idea what's going on? Or is it just that Filipinos really love to shortcut every word that they can think of? Like game wouldn't be game, it would be G. And I'm like, does the G means game? Does it mean go? Does it mean sige? I don't know. And with the sige is something that I will ask Filipinos for confirmation. Do you want this? And the answer will be sige. And I'm like, yes or no? That's what I'm asking for. But Filipinos will say yeah. And that's something that I think it's a language thing, that this is normal in the Filipino language to confirm something in that way. But for me, in my head, sige means alright. It doesn't mean yes. So I need to have a word that is saying yes to me. So maybe we can count as another thing that for me it's like not annoying, but it's confusing. In if Filipino will say to me sige, if I ask yes or no, I will follow up with another question, yes or no, because I need to know. Because is it like alright, no thank you, or alright as yes, please give it to me. So that's the thing. Actually, I forgot about that thing. When I was writing my little list, I forgot about it. So I guess it just popped into my head, guys. Another thing that I know it's really something that in Poland will be a taboo for a lot of people, especially like people from my parents' generation. And it's something that wouldn't be accepted as it is here in the Philippines. and that is like sweet breakfast. Like, I still trying to like realize the concept of it and kind of got used to it, because there is this typical Filipino breakfast, which is, let's say, longganisa or hot dog, and pritong itlog or another way of itlog, and rice, kanin. But there's also the sweet breakfast, which will be, for example, taho, will be Spanish bread, will be even like the other bakery pastry things from Filipino type of bakery. And everything is really, really sweet in the way that for Polish person, that's not the way that you start your day, that you start your morning. And if you're in the household with my dad will scold you if you try to eat something sweet before eating real deal breakfast. But here, I did notice that the acceptance around eating sweet food for breakfast or like before the proper breakfast is so normalized. It's like, so I think for Filipinos it's so normal to eat the sweet breakfast. And on top of that, the tolerance of sugar here and tolerance of sugar that I am used to from Poland, like maybe even like in Europe, because I never had this much sugar in my life as I do in the Philippines. Because I feel like Filipinos have really sweet tooth, that when something is sweet, it is really, really sweet for me as a Polish person. Because to make you have a clear vision, guys, in Poland, if you have something sweet, if you cook, like you bake, you make some dessert your own house and you give it to the guests, and then you're like waiting for their opinion, well, how do they like it? The best compliment you can receive is like, good, not too sweet. Dobre, nie za słodkie. But here, I think nothing would get that compliment, and I think just Polish people by default are not used to such a sweet food, and we are more into like salty maybe things. I don't know, it's just hard to say, like less sugar and we're good. I know that sometimes for me it's hard, like there is gulaman, I can't drink gulaman. It's just something that will not go down my throat. And whenever I'm buying siomai from Master Siomai, Jericho wants to convince me to buy the gulaman, but I can't drink gulaman. Gulaman is just something that it's just so sweet that I can't take it. Or I did notice that when I'm ordering matcha here, because I am a matcha girly, and I ordered the matcha and I choose 25% of sugar, it's ultra sweet still for me. And when I choose 0% sugar, it still is sweet. And I don't understand how does it work. Like, how does that matcha come with the sweetness? That's something that I can't understand. And also a lot of like Filipino desserts like yema, it's really sweet. And I thought, because I had some Polish candies that are similar to yema, and in Poland, it's really sweet, and Polish people will eat one and they'll be like, okay, done, now, enough. Another one later, like in a bit, I cannot eat more in once. And I gave it to my Filipino friends, and one of them said, I told him like, oh, because you know, it's really, really sweet. And he said that he doesn't like sweet things, and I was like, oh, well then, if you don't like it, it's fine, because this one is really sweet, yeah? And he ate it and he said like, actually it's fine, but it's not sweet enough for me. And I was like, this food is made purely out of sugar or caramel or whatever. And he said that, yeah, yema is better. And for me, I was eating yema like with small bites and putting it back to the fridge and going back to it like after like few hours to finish like one yema candy. But for him, he was like, not sweet. I wasn't that sweet. And that's something that convinced me to the idea that Filipinos' tolerance of sugar is here, where Polish people, it's somewhere maybe here. And that's really funny. Like, obviously I have nothing against it. It's just something that shocked me a lot. I know every person has a different taste. They like different things, but mostly Filipino sweets are more sweeter than the Polish one, which is quite funny and quite interesting for me. Next one on the list is something that I by myself am not used to. Like, that's something that I just experienced in the Philippines. I haven't seen such a thing in Poland. And the thing is that wherever I travel here in the Philippines, there'll be this thing with the lights that when you click the switch once, you have the white light, and then you switch it. When you switch it, you have the yellow light, yellow-orange light, and then sometimes you switch it and you have another color, which is also crazy for me. And I never had this thing in Poland, and I think that that's just something that it's interesting. I know it's not norm from everybody in the household, but so many places I went to so far, like every hotel or like Airbnb and our place here has those like switching lights, and I think that's something that Filipinos likes. And I think it's nice, it's really convenient, because sometimes you prefer to have white light, for example. Now we're recording, I prefer white light over yellow, and when I go to sleep reading, I prefer to have the orange/yellow light. So that's really nice, that's really convenient, but that's also something that is shocking and interesting for me. Another thing, guys, like I just read it and I feel like, oh my god, that's crazy, because that's something that I cannot accept it. And my family is also just so surprised that that's, like, maybe not surprised, but this is so hard to accept for a Polish person that this thing is happening. Because as you know, Poland and Philippines are on the different parts of the globe, but also like Philippines are closer to the center of the globe. We're a bit higher, right? So for us in the summer, they last really long. The day starts around 4 a.m. and it goes on up until maybe 9-10 p.m. So all of those hours, it's a daylight, and we're just happy, enjoying, full of energy. And here in the Philippines, the day starts around 5, finish around 6. Switch between the winter time and summertime is just like maybe 1 hour earlier or 1 hour later, the day starts and finish, and that's it. Like, for example, it starts at 6, it starts at 5, finish at 6, and then it will start at 5 and finish at 5. The change here is not so drastic. It's just like maybe you will get 1 more hour or longer light, or 1 more hour less light. And that's so hard for me to accept, because warm summer, it's a sign in my head with the idea of really long days where you can spend a lot of time outside, playing volleyball with friends, hanging out, having barbecues, going for hikes, going for bicycle rides. And here, I will wake up, I work, and my day is done. Like, it's literally dark outside. And that's just something, it's so hard for me to accept. Like, I don't like that part about the Philippines. It's not basically something that I hate and I cannot stand living here, because obviously if I couldn't, I would move out. But it's just so different, and something that I know that I would never get used to fully, in the way of like, I will still be missing those long days where I can enjoy the sunlight. It's just so short. Like, why day is so short? I know it's like all nature, geography, and I accept it, but my inner self who loves the summer for the long days, it's just so hard to accept it and move on. But now we will move on together to the next point of things that surprised me in the Philippines. Wow, that's something. This is something that connects with my recent conversation with one of my friends, when we spoke about the language. And some people, like over internet, I think recently, there is this idea that Poland and the Philippines are similar, and that the Philippines are an Asian version of Poland because of the Second World War and all of the things that happened post-war and colonization. You know, we were maybe not colonized, but we were like taken away from the map for 123 years, non-existing country under the occupation of Russia, Germany, and one more country that I never remember, Austria? I don't remember the English name of the country, but anyways. We do have similar history, but I did notice a big difference between Polish people and the way they see patriotism, and Filipino people and the way they see patriotism. Because for Polish people, there is no way that your child, even if it's like mixed child, for example, mother is from this country, father is from this country, it will not speak Polish. It has to speak Polish. Our language is like really important thing for us. It's really big, and it's something that we will fight for. That we speak it, we have it, we own it. And I noticed that in the Philippines, there are moments when I hear that parents are speaking to their kids, like Filipino parents who are talking to each other in Tagalog. They will speak to their kids only in English, and the kid will only speak back in English. The child will not interact with the Tagalog conversation. And some of our friends also have kids, and they wouldn't speak Tagalog to those kids. They wouldn't teach the Tagalog to the kids. They would only use English. And for me, that is like so surprising and kind of heartbreaking, because as I said, for Polish person, the language is really important. The culture, the national heritage is really important. And in the Philippines, seeing this thing happening, I'm just like, why? Why you do that, guys? I know it's easy to use English. It's easier to get a job if you're English speaker, but I think it's even cooler to be at least like bilingual, that you speak your language and you speak English, and maybe even like speaking 3 languages. So I think that's important to give your language, and that's something that really did surprise me, and it does makes me a bit sad to see those things happening, because I don't know, as I said, in Poland it's really important to keep the language and to take care of the language. And when I see that somebody is like giving up on their language so easily, it just makes me feel sad. I mean, of course I will not tell you how to raise your kids and how to navigate the parenthood and how to treat your own language, but for me it's just something that it's really important. And I know by myself that the moment when Jericho and I decide to have a child, this child will be like speaking 3 languages and will have like a jelly instead of a brain at the beginning, because they'll be like, oh, they're speaking English, they're speaking Polish, they're speaking Tagalog, what language should I talk back to them? And that will be hard at the beginning from the scientific point and how the brain develops. It will take them probably longer to speak and to be able to make sentences just in one language, because they'll be mixing all of it together. But that's totally fine, that's totally normal, and I'm okay to go with it. But I will make sure that our child speak my language and Jericho language for sure, because that's really important for me. But with that positive accent about some distant future, we're moving to the next point, which is how it surprised me that you can eat with hands. There's of course nothing bad for me to eat with hands, but guys, how do you eat rice with hands? That's something that it's hard for me. Like, I tried to eat with hands a few times because Jericho was encouraging me to eat in the Filipino way, but I usually choose to eat in the other Filipino way, which is the spoon and the fork, because I can't deal with eating rice with the hands. Like, it's so inconvenient for me. Like, eating rice with the spoon is the only way that I can deal with it. Maybe sometimes chopsticks if it's the sticky rice, but eating with the hands, whenever I'm trying to grab the rice, it will like fall apart and it will become all messy, and like my plate will start to look like a playground of a child instead of like a normal person eating. So I just am in the really big awe about you guys that you can eat with your hands rice. Like, congratulations guys, you're way better than me with using the thing that we've got, which is your fingers, because I really have no idea how to do that. But that's obviously nothing bad. It's just like something that I'm like really, really impressed that you can do that, because how does it hold on to you, and like how do you eat all of the rice that you got without leaving so much on your plate? Because how can you all grab it? Yeah, that's just me, the person who likes the manual crafts but cannot deal with the rice. Another thing that really surprised me, and it's like really hard for me to accept. In Poland, I've been living in different places because of university. I've been renting different spots. My friends have been renting different places. I never encounter a situation where the whole building itself, whole agglomerations of the building, will not allow pets to be in the building, to be in the units, to be in the apartments. In Poland, that's just usually the owner of the apartment will say no, and then you have to discuss with them and like tell them that you will pay for anything that the dog or the cat will destroy and yada yada, and then eventually they will say yes. But here in the Philippines, there's so many places when it's not allowed to own a pet, to have a pet in your apartment, to the point that I start to believe that unless I will have my own house with Jericho, like we will buy our property and get our house, that would be the first moment that we'll be able to have a pet. Because we really do want to have an animal. Like we want to have a pet, dog, the cat, but because we love animals. But I cannot find a place that will allow it, and it's also in some reasonable location. Because all the big buildings of apartments, they're just saying straight no. I am just really surprised because in Poland I never encounter it. And that is just so weird for me. Like, I can believe that in this kind of situation, like I'm like thinking like, what if like I own a place here? I bought it with my money. I pay like, I don't know, 7 million peso for this place, and I cannot do what I want. Like I cannot have a pet. Like that is just so out of my mind. But I think it's also like my Polish personality was like, you're trying to take away my rights? Okay, let's fight. Yeah, I think that's my Polish thing speaking up. But it's just so hard for me to accept, and also for Jerry, because we both want to have pets so badly. Obviously, I don't hate anybody for that, and I don't think it's all over the Philippines. But I think in the big cities, that's how it works. So guys, you can explain me how it works, and maybe like let me know where are the locations in like Metro Manila that allows you to have a pet. The one last thing that I would like to share, which is my number 10, is that people assume that I'm American, and for me that's really odd. And I am so surprised that by the way I dress and by the way I am, that people assume that I'm American. It never happened to me, and nobody ever assumed that I'm coming from America while being anywhere in other place in Europe. Yeah, that's a funny story, that a lot of people assume that I'm from America, because sometimes when they ask me where I am from, and I already know them a bit, I will be like, okay, guess where I'm from. And they usually will guess America. So first I'll be like, no. And they will say Australia, which I also understand, because there are a lot of Australian families coming to the Philippines for the vacations and so that makes sense. I understand what they might assume it. But that's just so funny, and I think it's again my Polish blood speaking and coming to the surface, like my patriotism being like, I am Polish. But obviously I'm not taking it as offense in any way, and even if you guys would think that I am American, I wouldn't take it as an offense, but something in my Polish brain is like, I'm Polish. I'm from Poland. And I'm not telling to them like, I'm from Poland, or getting angry or anything. I'm just like, hey, no. And they're like, nah, I'm from Poland. And then usually we will speak something about Poland, because to my own surprise, which really does surprise me, is that Filipinos know something about Poland. Not most of them, but some of them does know the Poland, or they will say that, oh, they know how the Poland looks like from videos, that Poland looks really nice, or like they would say something about Polish history if they're older. And I'm like, that's really nice, that's really lovely, because in Poland, I think we have this idea that nobody knows about Poland, and like if they think about Poland, they have a really bad way of thinking. I am just surprised to hear some nice words about Poland, and to hear that people do recognize my country. Yeah. Yeah, so that's something that also did surprise me, that people do know Poland. And with that positive accent, I would like to say thank you for watching, thank you for staying, stay tuned, see you soon, and it's time for us to say goodbye.